Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Legends of Arcadia Genesis. Our party has defeated the naga, driven it off without killing it, letting fear overtake the terrified. And now you have Kale back in the party. Someone play some Kale Joins the Party music.
Beat me to it. All right.
That's the victory fanfare, but not the has joined the party song.
It works. It works.
Well, because I joined, we now win.
Yeah.
I honestly expected more from.
Well, we obviously defeated the very nice, kind Naga. So.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Did, yeah.
Nothing about charm says we have to think it's nice and kind. We just.
That's also true.
You can also use charm to inspire fear or.
But can't you see June with like his huge ass weapon and everything? But like, Naga, you're cool.
I was kind of hoping we'd tame the Naga, or it'd tame us. We could be friends.
It tamed most of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Naga is gone. The cave is yours. You are within the bounds of the woods. What would you like to do?
So, about those mushrooms, Nix?
They're not really these are not really mushrooms. The ones that I can make the powder of are mushrooms. The other are leaves we're looking for.
Okay, leaves. Well, whereabouts does it grow? Like I said last night, I've got some magic that could help us find it.
Well,
Are we in the right kind of area, or should we move further up the river?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know that much about the herbs of this place. You know, I've been put here, but where what grows is not really my expertise.
All right. Well, I guess might as well get as far away from the cave as the spell. Sorry, words. Trying to find the spell to see what the range of it is. Well, but I can just look at my character sheet.
Yeah, like locate plants or something.
Yeah, locate plants and animals.
It's like 100 yards or something.
140 yards. So let's move 140 yards away from the entrance to the cave, and I'll cast it there. So should we just walk down the river a bit, and I'll cast the spell, try and find it.
Sounds good to me.
All right.
Okay.
Start walking down the river.
Yeah, you can walk down along the river. It is, how should we say? As you head down river, you find that you are heading downhill. The river picks up speed. It was sort of lazing through the plains, but now that there's a pretty good incline here, the river becomes a little more narrow and a little bit faster. The channel it runs in grows deeper. The air is covered with rocks around the river, but you also see plenty of small little birds and insects and amphibians cruising around. You spot some salamanders, some toads, frogs. You see a huge dragonfly that's got to be like, what is this, like 10 feet long with massive wings just kind of buzzing and fluttering down the path in front of you in the woods. It takes off before you really get too close. I guess at a certain point, after walking for a while, you're going to cast Locate Plants, is it? Locate Object? What are you looking for?
Locate animals and plants. So I guess I'll say to Nix. So Nix, can you describe what the leaves look like for me?
The ones we're looking for the gnome, they kind of look like a little bit like a star, with like very feathery leaves, similar to like a fern, but it's not really a fern. You know, it's more of a bushy plant.
And what did you say the name was?
Well, they are cocoa leaves.
Cocoa leaves. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I will grab hold of my holy symbol and say a prayer to Malchus. Malchus, please help me find the cocoa leaves in this valley.
That is a very Malchus-approved prayer.
Sure enough. What's the range of your spell, actually?
140 yards.
Perfect. Yes. You are directed downstream. You can see that the river is going forward, and then it sort of like hits a waterfall-y, cliffy area, and it is beyond the waterfall that you sense the leaves. And as you approach the edge, you can see it drops maybe 50 feet into a pool, which then continues to flow into a river. But down there are these, big, what did you call them, star-shaped plants with kind of soft feathery bits to them, and big ripe red berries.
So I'll run to the edge of the waterfall and kneel down, and I'll shout back, "They're down here! Come and look! Is this them?" And I'll point down the waterfall to the star-shaped leaves.
I will approach. I guess I'm a little bit... I look around, and this seems to be quite the beautiful place, actually. This is a very peaceful place. I like it here.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a shame about its inhabitants. I say, looking around into the trees.
Yep.
Is that them?
Sorry, I guess I'll leave. Didn't mean to spoil the mood.
I say, yeah, it's them. Can anybody help me harvest a few of them and put them into my bag, maybe?
Sure, but how do we get down there? Maybe we can find a switchback or something? Can anyone climb
Is it
down
like
there?
a true cliff?
Yeah, it's a true cliff. You could, I mean, it's pretty rough.
I
There are
envisioned
roots
it
sticking
as
out of
just,
it.
like steep but walkable. I guess I'm.
It's been sort of up and down, sort of steepnish, but now you hit like a waterfall, which necessitates
Fair.
a true cliff.
Okay.
So can we continue walking along the edge of this gully and find a place where we can safely descend?
If you'd like, you can find another place. If you don't want to climb straight down here, you can walk around.
How far is the climb?
About 50 feet. A dangerous distance.
That's at
Yeah.
least like 5 Junes of falling damage. I'm not
At least.
not here for that.
Yeah, let's try and find another way down then.
Okay. Yeah. Take a look here. You can head along the bluff and see that as you go away from the river, it starts to rise, and then eventually it starts to fall again. And takes maybe an hour to go around the detour all told. But you can come back down to the other side to be at the base of the waterfall with your detour. Find your leaves, big red berries. Everything in this area, except for the pounding of the waterfall, is quite still and calm. And go ahead and harvest. How many pounds of leaves and berries are you guys taking?
I don't know. He didn't really say how much he wanted, did he?
I don't think he knew himself how much he needed. I'm not carrying particularly much.
I mean, I could carry, quite a few.
What if we take like 10 pounds and like you carry 5 and I carry 5?
All right, sounds good.
10 pounds seems like, yeah.
That seems
I
like
mean, that's a lot of
berries.
leaves as well and berries, right?
I don't know. If there's berries in there, though, he could cultivate it, right?
That's true.
Well,
You think he would pay more the more we brought?
I think that is how money works.
Well, I guess my theory is why shortchange ourselves, right? We could get as much as we could carry and then, have as much money as possible. I don't know why we would just be like, 5's good.
That's true. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and take 5. I can help you harvest as many as you want, but
Let's just load up the ass. Like, what's the point of having one if we can't, carry some serious cocoa
true.
leaves?
that's true.
Yeah.
I guess we
In
can
the
just load
ass.
up the donkey. The donkey.
All right, you're right.
It
Isawol
is an
stands.
ass, right? It's a donkey, right? We chose donkey over mule.
Yes.
Yeah.
Isawol stands guard while they gather an ass load of gnome leaves.
Yeah. We will leave a little bit behind, though. I don't want to eradicate the entire, like all the brushes that are here.
Yeah, I'll leave some to grow back.
So I take it everyone just becomes a farmer for a short little period as you harvest everything you can carry, except for not killing all the plants.
Yes.
I'm taking watch.
Where are you watching? I mean, clearly it's all around, but is there anything that's more interesting to you? Up the cave, down the river, or up the waterfall, down the river?
Have we passed the ogre?
Yeah, that's
Arena?
well behind you. So behind you and on the other side of the river.
So I guess I'm probably 25 feet upriver. towards the ogre camp, sort of looking off in that direction.
Well, upriver would be up the waterfall.
Oh, okay.
right.
Okay, then downriver. I'm just nearby,
Okay.
looking down the river,
Yeah. Well, I
listening
think
out.
you find yourself drawn towards the water. There's something a little bit off about it, you know? Maybe like there's some ripples that seem to be emanating from nowhere in particular.
Okay.
And
I
while
ditched
everyone-
my swimming proficiency, so I won't go into the water, but I'll go to the bank and get distracted or entranced by this and stick the butt of my spear into the area with the bubbles.
Yeah.
And see if I can like fish something out there or like, I don't know, prod around a bit. Poke the crocodile, you know.
Adjacent to where your spear enters the water, you see from the depths a face coming towards you.
Is it the naga?
It is not the naga. It is another feminine head, human-shaped face with green eyes and sort of what do you call it? Auburn hair, like that sort of blondish brownish combo.
Underwater?
It's underneath the water, looking up at you.
Am I startled or enchanted?
I will
Like
let
this-
you decide if
Like
you.
that sounds like I might jump, or unless it's.
Well,
You described
are
it so serene. You described it so serenely, but I feel like if I saw it, what I think
Yeah.
is like a body floating in the water, I'd be like, oh.
It's not a body. She's definitely alive. Like you can see the eyes moving. You know, there's soft movements. They're not looking about, but sort of out of the depths, still underwater, comes this head with
I'm gonna go with enchanted then. So
brown
I
and
think
golden hair, pearly white skin, sparkling green eyes.
Zool locks eyes with this creature and kneels at the bank of the water, and I guess just makes eye contact and watches. Does she emerge from the river, or are we just staring at each other through the water?
She will emerge, and as she does so, you'll notice that she has this like shawl wrapped around her, which looks like it's made out of water, or maybe it's made out of some sort of like special silky something that like has a surface tension, so the water clings to it as she breaks the surface slowly, gently, soundlessly, and reaches out a hand for you in a friendly gesture.
I stand up and extend my left hand myself, as if to help her out of the water.
Yes. She will take your hand, sort of pulling you down, but pulling herself out at the same time. Sort of like trying to bring you down to your knees at the bank while she like brings her head and neck out.
I was already kneeling, so I think I'm like starting to stand, and she pulls me back to a kneel.
Yeah. She comes on out of the water most of the way and reaches for your face with hers.
With her face, as if to like catch me by the face with her face.
As if to greet you in a French or Italian way.
Can I like attempt to identify this creature? I guess I don't
Yeah.
have any. I guess I've only got religion.
Okay. Make me a religion check, but it's got to be a really good one.
Is that even relevant? I don't.
No, it is shy of what you would have needed. Your guess is as good as mine.
Are her ears pointy? How tall is she?
They are slightly pointed. She is short for a human. Somewhere like 4 3/4 feet tall.
So she can barely reach my face, especially
Yeah,
if
she
she's
would
like
need you
emerging
to-
from the water.
Need you to be kneeling for her to reach
I
your
guess I
face.
am kind of kneeling.
Yeah.
How,
Yeah, she tries to kiss you.
Nobody of us.
can
did,
Neal?
right?
Can I have you roll me a charisma check to seduce me or something? Or should we do opposed charisma checks?
Seduce him, Neal.
So cute. This is my idea. Neal, can you roll to seduce me, please? I don't
Are
want to
those
do it
dice in
myself.
your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
Should I pose this with anything? Or do you want
they're
to
dice. Not that I'm not happy to see you, but
They're also just dice. Yeah.
What's the time?
Yeah, well, I guess I can make a check to seduce Ryan. It's not a great check. Yeah.
Like this
Like-
is suspicious.
There's something, strange women coming out of ponds trying to kiss you.
What could be suspicious about that?
I think it sounds great, but like I think Isabel's
it
a
does
bit
sound-
startled, and
A beautiful woman appears out of nowhere and wants to kiss you. Who wouldn't be at least intrigued by this prospect? But there are probably hairs standing up at the back of your neck that are.
Yeah. Instead
shivers
of
down
like
your
staying kneeling so that she can reach, Izuel stands to a height of 6 feet plus, well out of kissing range of this water nymph. It says, "Greetings, stranger."
And she will call out in a gentle, honeyed voice, "Hello. Welcome to my river." And I think
is
everyone else
your-
will hear that voice as you're gathering coca leaves.
I think Kale is very interested.
Yeah, I think my head snaps around. I drop the bag, and you just hear Nix going, "Okay," and gently just shove him into the direction of whatever this water thing is.
Your river, I say, stepping back. Are you
My
a
river.
Is she naked?
Your river?
Yes. She has come to the point where maybe her abdomen is out of the water and her, hips are down, probably at the bank. Her feet are out behind her, sort of splashing a little bit. But from
Is she supernaturally beautiful?
not supernaturally. She's definitely fae of some type. Not this fae, but fae this is problematic when we play D&D with
What are you
you.
trying to say exactly?
There's a lot problematic about this
Fake
scene,
hidden.
Neal.
She's
It's
fair.
fine. I can deal with not being supernaturally beautiful.
All right. So anyways, in response to my river, I say, "Your river. Be you a servant of Verasi? Are you ogrekin?" And I
No.
am suddenly more suspicious of this creature claiming ownership of this cursed valley of death.
I'm a narid. Don't you know of us, Azul? Don't you remember us?
It's foggy. How do you know my name?
Is
I
this
think-
your sister?
And I think by now whichever party members would like to have walked over.
Yeah, Kale is already over there, and he says, "I'm part water creature myself," and he rolls up his sleeve to show like a little bit of patchy scales on his forearms.
Oh.
She gently reaches out as if to be like, "Can I look at your hand, your arm?" And she'll take her hand and run it over your weird patchy scales.
I will step aside and let Kale cohort with the Nereid.
Yeah. She asks to you all, "What brings you to the banks of my waters?"
Well, at first something about mushrooms, but now if you have the time, I'd love to ask for everything you know about this river. I'd like to record it all for posterity.
I don't know if you have the time for all of that.
Well, I could go until I fill out this book, and I pull out my journal.
Yep, she splashes in the water a little bit and will answer your questions directly, succinctly. She seems very curious about the 5 of you who have arrived at the banks of a river. And
I
oddly, what's the word for, like, standoffish, but in sort of like a hidden intent way. Not quite flirty.
Suspicious.
Not quite suspicious. There's another term for like slightly removed, sort of aloof. Yeah, she seems sort of aloofly answering your questions, giving kind of like short, simple answers, and spending the time that it
I
takes
look
to answer
around
these things,
to
looking
make
at you
sure
guys.
this isn't a distraction to make way for the ogre ambush. Right. So like I'm keeping watch on like the edges of the valley to make sure there's no one else creeping up on us or there's no one else slithering up the river.
Nope, there's no one else. What sort of questions would you like to ask? At least not yet.
I think there's a lot of general questions. Like his spell crafting is a lot based on like philosophy, right? And he's going to ask about like properties of water and try and further his like magical knowledge. He also has a couple like he's going to ask, did Malchus really create the source of this river?
Oh, I'm not sure which one of the greater beings did, but when they created it, they pulled me from my home, and now I'm here. I'm an elemental, you see.
Oh.
At least that's your word for us. A bit blunt and unnuanced. But I think that's what your people call us.
I see. What? I don't know how in depth you want to go, but I think Kale's just going to keep running with it, right? Like, could you elaborate on the details between an elemental and a narid? What are the things that make you different? We know a lot about elementals, but I've never heard of a narid.
I am a creature of water who only takes this form when gazed upon by other creatures. If you were bugbears, I would appear as a bugbear to you. If you were ogres, I would appear as an ogre to you. I am the essence of water in many ways. Fresh water, she says, as if that's a huge distinction, like, you know, critical.
I believe I'm saltwater myself.
Yeah, but she'll answer your questions. If you have anything specific you would like to ask her, you can. Otherwise, you guys can go back to picking coca leaves.
It's
She's
mostly
just
going to be
chilling.
like spellcrafting notes, right? Like, just kind of part of his research.
She is happy to tell you about the elements, the elemental planes, the existence of her world, her home world, which rests between the realms of earth and water. Earth and air. She'll talk to you about how if you go towards the earth side of things, the water gets sort of dark and sludgy, and there's these like silt and these particles floating around, and eventually you reach this like bank of what would you call it? Sort of like a wet mud that just becomes harder and harder and harder until you are in the elemental earth plane. She also talks to you about these great pillars of salt that will reach from ground to air through the whole plane in the areas of the elemental plane of water that are salty. These just huge columns of salt upon which all this other life grows and creatures swim around. She talks to you about this place as if it's haunted and terrifying and scary. For a freshwater creature, that might make sense. And she talks about the banks between air and water, the great waves, the eternal mists that blow around there, the things that occasionally fall from the sky. And the way she speaks about it makes it seem like the elemental plane of water is endless in the forward, back, left, and right directions, and then like finite but huge in the vertical range.
Okay, so it hits the other plane sort of like in a pillar instead of like in a ring. I guess it could still be like a ring, but it'd be okay, I get what you mean, right? It's up and down to get to the other planes, not like
Left to right, front and back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's just perspective.
Yeah. What is the rest of the party doing? Like, does Abaddon and Nick stop their harvest?
I think I harvest through. I mean,
Yeah.
probably too caught up in it. I guess if I look over my shoulder and see you guys all circled around the river talking to someone, probably pique my interest. But I guess by the time that happens, maybe people start coming back. So I think I'll just go back to harvesting.
I think,
Next June.
yeah, I think Nyx is just stacking like backpacks filled with those coca leaves on the cart, and she makes it a point of not looking at the narid. She has like a slight scowl on her face. It's like, oh, look at this fascinating new person we just met. So nice, so interesting. Let's talk to her, And Nyx is just stacking the bags full of stuff, and she's just mumbling something to herself as she does so.
Well, when you get back, I'll say to you, who are they talking to over there? What is it?
It's a witch of the waters.
A witch?
Well, technically just an elemental, but I think they do have the power of charm, Not a big fan of the kind of charms she has, but she does have them.
I'd hate to be charmed by a monster. It'd be awful.
I bet you would.
Are they all right? Is it gonna hurt them?
I mean, Kale is an expert when it comes to water. I'm sure he's well equipped to tackle this problem.
I hope so. You think we've got enough? There's a motion to the bags that are laid out around me. It's quite a lot here. I'm not sure how much this horse can carry.
I think it should be fine. Looks all right to me.
All right, give me a hand tying it up, and I'll start hefting the bags onto the back of the donkey.
Sure, I can help with that.
The narid will, as you guys are chatting with her, sort of splash around a little bit. You notice this shawl never really seems to lose its water properties to it, but there's definitely some translucence to it. She'll carry it over her shoulders and it'll drape down part of the back. And at a certain point, she'll kick back into the water, sort of backstroking away from you guys, and beckon to the three of you on the shore to join her for a dip in the fresh, clean, cool waters.
Which
Does it help if she giggles? You and Sean and Ryan?
Why us three?
I think
Because
we're
the other
ones who
two
still
are
there.
Yeah, the other ones are away from her talking about
we
leaves and
decided
shit.
I was talking with her. Okay, that's
Well, we asked
Oh,
you
I-
and you didn't answer. So
Yeah, sorry, I
think
just
you assumed.
assumed. I
it's
could have
fine.
been wrong.
It's cool. It's cool.
Are you
It's cool.
loading
Do I
leaves?
need to make a charm save?
No, there's no charm save. She's just inviting you into the water. There's nothing magical about it.
What do you think? I could go for a swim.
Iswell has a flat, skeptical look on their face. That doesn't necessarily tell you not to.
How strong is the river? Like, is it like a strong current that I'd have a hard time keeping myself up in? Actually, do I know how to swim? I assume I took swimming. Because
I think you were the one that did.
I'm pretty sure I took swimming because I am part fish.
The main flow of the river can be quite strong, but this is a pool at the base of the waterfall that is mostly calm. It's maybe like, I don't know, 100 feet across or so, and the river is a swift, maybe 30-foot channel coming out of it. So there's plenty of shallow area where you can play without worrying about being swept downriver.
Well, I didn't quite grow gills from my my crossbreed, but I do have legendary breath control, so hopefully that works out for me. I'm gonna. I think he'll take his shirt off and step into the water.
17
kick off the
calm.
breath.
Breath control. No shirt on. What a guy.
Not a sexton, by the way.
You said it.
Women love him, men want to be him.
It's the
Okay,
scaly
yeah.
flesh.
It's really the scales. You can float around with the narid, who will splash and play with you in a sort of a childish or young, carefree sort of way. You know, like there's no darkness to the woods. The ogres aren't a threat. The gods aren't like plummeting down to the earth. Ponos himself isn't about to come and bring suffering to the world.
I will
She's
not
just
fall
having
for
a
your charms. I am on high alert.
she's just having a good time splashing around with her new friend who's so interested in who she is. She'll
Yeah,
tell you.
I think Kale is a little bit more like ascetic in the water, right? It's a little bit more of a like a pondering moment. Like he's not splashing around as much. He's just kind of like floating along.
Yeah, she'll tell you that she has spoken to some of the ogres, and they are not the sort of creatures that she wishes to cavort with. They're brutish, mean-spirited creatures. Unlike, at least you. Why don't you stay here with me? I can help you breathe.
Interesting. You can give me gills?
I can help you breathe.
Well, unfortunately, I have directive from Malchus right now that I have work to do, and he might be a bit strange, but I'd rather not cross a god at the moment. Perhaps later.
Well, I live in the river. You can find me again. Do pay a visit.
Of course. There's still so much I could learn from you.
Well,
And yeah, after a little bit, I think he'll swim back out of the water.
sure. You guys have gathered up your leaves. She doesn't appear to be a threat to you. And you guys can go. Heading back up the mountain, back up around the mountain, up through the woods, and back out to the plains. It'll take you a bit to get there, but eventually you leave the river behind, the forest behind. You step back out into the plains in the afternoon. The warm sun beats down on you. The hike uphill has been not too difficult at all. I think you're all in pretty good shape. No one's got like 7 con or something, right?
I might.
I think I have the highest con.
I have 8 con.
14.
I have 17.
You're all good then. It looks like no, Azul's got 7 decks. Yeah, you're fine. Yeah, you guys can get back to the valley. It's peaceful. It's sunny. The encounter with the narid, surprisingly peaceful. Were you going to stay down here, or were you guys going to immediately head back to Acropolis to return your items?
The day is probably over, right? So maybe we should camp.
Like mid-afternoon, yeah.
Camp at the fortifications. Are there people here? Like, are there laborers setting up these trenches and stuff, or have they moved on?
There were some laborers around that were working on these things. Then there was the battle with the ogres, and most of the people have kind of like wandered off to go back to their own tasks. Some of them have like been dragged away by Malchus for some purpose of chaos, one way or the other. But there remains a group of 4 who are on the south side of the river still working to put up those palisade walls, because like you had a magic shovel to dig trenches, but you're still chopping down trees by hand.
Yeah. Can we shout across the river to them?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, you should build us a bridge.
Build your own bridge. I don't know how to do it. I'm a potter.
I can direct you.
What? Just build it yourself.
Oh, I'm not a laborer.
What are you then?
I'm an engineer.
He gives you a scowl.
How long would it take, Kale, to build a bridge?
I'll make an engineering roll and let you know. I think I have 18 intelligence, so it's a 37. How long would it take to build this bridge, Neal?
With your existing manpower of the 5 of you plus Manfred plus those 4 over there, probably a couple months.
Months?
Nice.
If it's the 4, what is that, like 10 people trying to build a wooden bridge over like a 100-foot river? Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So
I mean, I'm not an engineer, Ryan. Maybe you should tell us how long it takes to build a bridge.
I would have guessed about a week. If we're
build
just
a
making like a
100-foot
small
bridge?
wooden bridge.
But you gotta like
apparently
cut
100
all the
feet long.
trees. You know, you gotta turn them into planks. You gotta
Jeez.
like bury pylons in the river somehow. You're gonna need specialized
Yeah.
tools and equipment.
Fair enough.
It seems to me like that would be a difficult task for 10 people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So should we camp here? Head back to Acropolis tomorrow, or should we go back into the forest? We could always leave the donkey.
We could just
with
camp
those.
here. I don't see any reason to go back into the woods.
Yeah, I think we camp here amongst the fortifications.
No, yeah, I meant tomorrow. What do you want to do? Head
Oh,
back.
I don't know what we're doing right now. I've been asleep for a few days. Or how long have I been asleep for?
A few days.
Okay.
I
Yeah, we
think
got
about
more-
4 days.
We got these leaves for a guy back in town. I guess we could take them to him, but it's a long walk if we're just going to come back here anyway.
What's our current objective aside from the leaves?
I looked
Then,
at everyone else, confused. I don't know.
So here was the idea. I was trying to get access to an alchemist lab because I think it can significantly help us and our fortifications with some burning powders and some, equipping some people with simple things to use that I can make in an alchemist lab. Now, when we were there, we also figured that we might as well try to pick something up for somebody who's interested in goods from the forest. And we found a gnome who was very interested in these leaves. That is the plan. Do you know anything about alchemy?
I believe I know about herbalism. I think I have like the herbalism to somebody else's medicine. me
Yeah,
double
so
check.
I
I've
think
got
that
something called
I
first aid.
think that knowledge could actually help us with our fortifications.
Oh?
And villages as well, in case we're not always here to defend it against every single ogre that is around.
Mm-hmm. I do have herbalism.
Yeah, and I've got first aid and healing. So between us. So do you guys want to next? You want to head back to Acropolis tomorrow?
Yeah, that would be my goal. Unless you guys have anything else you wanted to do. I know some people said, "Well, we're in the force, we might also spy on the ogres," but I don't know why we would do that, because we know approximately where they are. We know approximately how many there are. Might just put ourselves at risk there, but I'm also not the strategist here.
I'll lower my voice a little bit and say, the forest is pretty big, and we were walking around there all day today, and we didn't see them. You know, something you guys were saying before as well. There's more to this place than just this valley. There's other gods. Maybe we could just leave. Sneak through the forest. The ogres wouldn't see us. Go somewhere else.
Couldn't Malchus find us?
Maybe we can find another one to protect us from it.
Wouldn't we be just doing the bidding of another god then?
I don't know, would we? We'd be defying one, taking our own free will. Sure, it would be chaotic, but at least it would be our own decision, not just waiting here to die.
I mean, let's assess this point that you've made really fast. Are you arguing it would not be our own free decision to continue working for Malchus?
Well, he's put us here. He's told us what to do if we just do it. It's not very chaotic. It's just
What has he told you to do?
defend the valley.
What if the ogres? If you leave these people to themselves, they'll be slaughtered. Then Varasi wins. It's become a valley of death.
I'll look around. I don't know these people.
You did also kill one of those ogres. They might be interested in retribution.
Well, they already sent a second one. You weren't there for that, but...
I mean, that just sounds like another reason to leave. No, just me. I don't... Okay.
As much as I would like to be getting back to the university, this does seem a noble goal to defend a town here.
Okay, where is this university of yours?
I'm not sure. I know what it's like inside of the university. I don't know how to get there because in my memories I lived there my whole life. I never traveled there.
Are you sure you're remembering this university? Or are you...
I have sent letters to them.
Have you, though? Or is...
Well, Manfred helped me send them.
Is it possible that the timeline is backwards? That this university is in the future? Something you're remembering to create?
I don't. No, because I was not the one who created. I was a lecturer there. I was not the one who. I was not head of the school.
Rug.
As you guys discuss the philosophy of memories being a past reality from when before you existed or a portent of the future, the sun sets, you make camp, and the great comet in the sky bursts for a moment and vanishes.
Is that the one leaving or the one...
No, that's the one arriving. Eris has already left. Ponos has arrived on the planet. And that night, deep into your slumber, you are awoken to distant cries and howls, and you see on the south side of the river, maybe another 5 miles from the forest edge from where you are, there is a great fire in the distance. You can see the flame, the light from the flames bouncing off of the mountain tops and off of the low-lying cloud cover. And
Is
you
this
can...
It's the forest is on fire?
No. 5 miles from the forest into the plains, one of the villages, those tiny little villages along the river, is a flame.
Oh.
And I think we'll take our second break. We'll come back on the other side with a little more Legends of Arcadia Genesis.